All right. Welcome to Beers and Birds. We're going to do a little unfiltered for the championship game. It's your boy Rob. I'm here with Brad and Mike. And we're going to discuss the magic that was the NFC Championship game between the Minnesota Vikings and our lovely Birds. Boys, what did you think?
Wow, it's tough to wrap your head around that one. I mean, we were all talking
good God,
close games. We had the predictions last week.
Low scoring, too.
16-17.
Yeah, close game. One team was going to win. It was going to be end of the game kick. Or
one of us picking to lose.
And
like Nick Foles might have to score points somehow. I don't know how he's going to do it.
Against the number one ranked defense.
Number one.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't look number one.
They did the first drive, though.
They looked like number two.
They looked good on the first drive during my freak out. During my freak out first drive, my traditional first drive freak out, where they just marched down the field. I was like, these sons of bitches! Ah!
I'm with you. I tweeted at Kemsky. I'm like, this team sucks.
Well, and they didn't really look ready at that time.
No.
I mean, they were a little confused themselves, and Najee Goods kind of pointing at another linebacker as the ball's hiked. Kyle Rudolph gets behind him for an easy touchdown, and
the easiest.
Yeah, and you're just kind of wondering. You're like, oh, is this the way it's going to be?
But they felt uncontested that whole drive up. They just seemed like it's like, oh, first down, okay, second, first down. Like they didn't seem to be stopping them at all. You know?
No. But we've seen that before where the Eagles have looked maybe a little lackluster in the first drive, but they find a way to make adjustments and. Either stick to their game plan or, just a perseverance of a team that's been through a lot of injuries, a lot of lost players. They just fight and do what they do and usually end up on the right side of things. Whether it's a close game or a blowout, we end up winning. I mean, take the Dallas game out of the equation. We won 13 out of 15 regular season games, and we've won 2 playoff games. And just by doing the right thing, like making the tackle, limiting people to, what could be a big play, they limit it to, the catch and a tackle. So they're not giving up too much big stuff, minus that first drive of this game here. 2 games, they've given up, 17 points in 2 games, 2 playoff games?
Yeah.
2 pretty good offenses.
Yeah.
2 pretty, yeah.
Props to Brad here with and I wanted to pull it up and get an official quote. Relax, my friend. Plenty of game to play.
Oh,
the Birds
me,
are good at making adjustments.
It was for both of you because he had a freak out and then you had the second freak out and then I was just like, all right, we
need to calm it down, reel it back.
We have 50 minutes to play and we're better than this. So now I didn't think we're 38-7 good, but
apparently we were
after that first drive. I mean, we shut them down. Look.
We shut them down. Nothing after that.
We give up 80 yards rushing game. They got 70, and a lot of it was they had to pass later on because they were behind. I mean, look at that
goofy
ratio.
Draws.
48 passes for Keenum and 18 runs. So we got him out of the running game, which we wanted to do. We wanted to make Keenum pass. And we didn't have a great game statistically, like 1 sack, but we had 8 quarterback hurries. And, we had a strip sack and we had a couple interceptions. So
he got hit a bunch, too.
We had pressure.
Constant pressure.
Yeah, constant. He was never comfortable.
The D-line, 8 and 8 and 8.
Yeah.
Derek Barnett, 8. Brandon Graham, 8.
Yep.
Chris Long, 8. Fletcher Cox, 8.
Yeah. And Keenum looked shook by the third quarter. I mean, his face, he looked shook. I remember texting that to you guys, like, he's shook.
And after that first drive, he really... After the interception to Robinson, he was hesitant to throw downfield. And most of the throws were just checkdowns, whether the running back or the tight end coming across the middle or quick slants, short stuff that over the course of an entire drive, we're eventually going to stop that.
Back foot dump-offs to Jerick McKinnon over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean, McKinnon,
and 11 Birds
catches.
Were wrapping them up, too.
Yeah.
They were tackling like champs.
That's what they got to do.
They did not give up many extra yards at all.
I mean, the dump-offs, look, McKinnon had 11 catches, but only for 86 yards, less than 8 yards per reception. So they were shutting it down. I mean.
Yeah. And then that next drive, once they try to block Barnett with the fullback and it doesn't go well, there's a strip sack. Yeah. And then that's multiple turnovers and
a bunch of punts.
Psyche gets fucked.
Right, because they did have the ball in our side of the field a couple times, but we had timely turnovers and we had pressure, and we kept trying to do the same thing. Pressure with 4, not a lot of blitzing, pressure, and eventually they thought Case Keenum was going to make a mistake, and more often than not, he did.
He did, yeah.
Which I thought the whole year, like everybody, I know he had good stats and everything, but I could never believe that Case Keenum was a good enough quarterback to pick our defense
He
apart.
played much better this year, but not that week.
Not that. No, they figured him out.
Not the other day. Not Sunday.
And he struggled a little bit more on the road. And certainly, they play some games outside, and he struggled a little bit more there. So,
then he had to play in that insane asylum.
Yeah, they said there actually was a guy that's Fox Sports 1 announcer that I heard today. He was at the game, and he's a Kansas City fan, and he said that the crowd noise there was greater than he had ever heard at Arrowhead, which is impressive and a testament to the Eagles fans because that's supposed to be the loudest outdoor stadium to play in the league.
Yeah.
And when he's saying he never heard it louder there.
Kempsky said he never felt the press box shake before.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we were ready for this. We were...
credit
to the fans.
Were pumped.
The 12th man was certainly an aid in this game.
Absolutely.
And, obviously not the reason, but I think it certainly helped to keep the players amped and focused. And, it's not even like they were going all in adrenaline. They were disciplined football, staying in your lane, staying with your the person you're supposed to be guarding.
How many penalties?
The refs let him play pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Not a ton. I don't know if at the bottom of the back score it says the penalties, but I can't imagine the Eagles have more than 4 or 5.
No, and I felt like the last couple of games they had a lot. They shot themselves in the foot a lot.
Oh, that's it. They don't have the penalties there.
No.
All right. But, yeah, there was never a penalty that really impacted the Eagles. There was a personal foul penalty after the kickoff that gave the Vikings an extra 15 yards.
Right after their personal foul kickoff that didn't do anything.
Right. Something has to be done about that personal foul. Like giving a kicker an extra 15 yards on the kickoffs. The majority of kickoffs, I think it's like 75% league-wide are touchbacks. So to give the Eagles 15 yards on a kickoff that's probably a touchback.
You could just dive into the kicker and hope to hurt him because it wouldn't matter.
It doesn't benefit them. So maybe the first play from offense after the kickoff that the 15 yards gets put then. I don't know.
Hey, I found your penalties, by the way.
Okay. What do we got?
The Vikings had 2 for 19. The Eagles had 4 for 55.
Okay. All right.
Turnovers, Vikings had 3. Eagles had 0. Of those 3 turnovers, 1 fumble was lost. What's up, Case Keenum? And then he threw 2 interceptions.
What's up, Case Keenum?
And then 1 defensive touchdown off that. Yeah.
So, yeah.
P-Rob.
He got smacked up.
Outside of that first drive, it was complete domination on both sides of the ball. And we're so used to seeing this with Carson. I think this is the first time we've had a true blowout with Nick, though.
Absolutely. Well, here's another thing. Third down efficiency. Minnesota Vikings, 6 for 13. Eagles were 10 for 14 on third down.
Yeah.
They were ripping it up on third.
The Vikings defense only gave up 50 all year, which is an average of just over 3.
Ooh.
Courtesy of the math guy over here.
Right on.
So, yeah, to get 10 against that defense is
it's
really impressive. And Nick wasn't scrambling, but he was buying time in the pocket, sliding left, sliding right, buying more time. So the one time he double pumped and then through to Ertz.
Oh, the comfortability.
He looked comfortable in the pocket.
And the blocking looked good.
The pressure the pressure did not bother him. Like the pocket was closing on him at times, but he found a little bit of space and was able to make throws. And
even the one time he got jacked up for the sack, he made sure to hold on to the ball, which I really appreciated.
Thanks, Nick.
Well, I mean, and take this lightly, but he looked Carson-esque.
Yes,
minus
he did.
The runs.
Right.
The throws were Carson-esque.
The fearless hanging in the pocket.
The steely-eyed determination,
Yes. I don't know if that's a regular thing yet.
Sure.
We only need him to do it one more time.
The big touchdown pass to Alshon Jeffrey, just buying time in the pocket.
That was a great catch by Alshon.
Waiting.
Just waiting, and then the coverage broke down, and Alshon broke for the end zone, made a great throw, and
held on to that thing. A man's catch.
Helped blow the game open.
Yeah.
And also credit to the coaches. I mean, Doug Peterson being aggressive, 29 seconds left. You could just kneel it out knowing that you get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, but you see how that worked for the Jags.
Doug stayed aggressive and got an extra 3 points out of it. More momentum going into half. Then you come back out on the flip side with the ball.
Right. That's something, I don't have the stat in front of me, but that's something Belichick does a ton, where he scores at the very ass end of the second quarter, and they get the ball back in the third. It's like double possessions. I think it correlates very highly to your team winning the game.
Well, yeah, it's when they got the ball back in the second half is when they made that big what was it? Who was it? Aguilar that got that one?
I think it was Torrey Smith.
It was Torrey Smith, yeah.
The flea flicker.
Fade to
The
the
flea
corner.
flicker, yeah, that
flea
was
flicker,
insane.
Fade to the corner.
And Torrey Smith said, "Oh, I do have hands. Catch."
He redeemed
caught
himself.
one.
He redeemed himself.
He caught a
that's
great
good.
ball because
I mean,
he won. He should have had earlier. Should have
Yeah.
pinned it to himself, but he made a great catch on that.
He did.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is on the sideline, but Carson's sitting there with the iPad talking to Nick Foles, maybe showing him things to look for, and maybe just the sharing of information helps Nick a little bit more. That with the coaching, the play calls by Reich and Peterson, excellent play call, excellent execution. Usually you don't have everything clicking, but they were firing on all cylinders, man.
They really were.
And then
that.
after a couple picks or a pick and a fumble, Case Keenum reverted back to like what you expect of Case Keenum. Just
he's playing on the Rams again.
Right. He's just throwing all these safe throws, and when you're down 24, 31 points, you're just not going to be able to come back doing that. So they got him out of his game, and they were in control. They
dominated him. I mean, after that other than those first points, they just beat him like a dog.
I mean, I felt by halftime, I was like, there's no way that the Vikings are going to come back and win this game.
Yeah, I felt they had it pretty tied up.
Yeah.
And then when they missed that fourth, it was over.
Yeah.
They went that fourth down. It was done.
Oh, you mean the Adam Thielen touchdown catch that Joe Buck was really excited about?
They made it off those filthy Eagles. They scored against these filthy, disgusting fans.
Well,
We heard you, Joe Buck. We know what you were saying.
The funny part of it was that the line judge calling that was the guy from the sideline who was shielded and couldn't
Thielen's
see
back.
through Thielen's back.
Yeah.
How could he call that a touchdown? Where's the end zone? The line judge on that call.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
then
but
when
you
you saw
have
the
replay to save
and then,
you, but-
and the replay was so obvious. It's like, oh, look at it just slide off
Clear
his
as
body
shit.
and hit the ground. And then Thielen getting up all mad. I was like, shut the fuck
I
up.
went to take a piss as soon as I saw the replay one time.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I know that's getting overturned.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way. It's not
Yeah.
even like, is there evidence to overturn it? Yeah, it's right there. Mm-hmm. Like it clearly touches the ground, and he snaps it up like, oh, I got a touchdown.
Hey. Yeah.
no one will see that.
And maybe Thielen wasn't 100%. He had the lower back injury. He was targeted 9 times, only had 3 catches for 28 yards. So the D-backs did a great job. I mean, where did they struggle? They didn't. I have trouble critiquing outside of that first drive anything the Eagles did because the offense and the defense were playing well. The play calling was great. The execution was phenomenal.
Nope. This was a game where everything went right.
And I mean,
they came up out a little overhyped, and if you saw like clips as they're working out pregame, they're like jumping around and having a great old time in the field. Like this team is loose and not at all intimidated. But
and they like each other. It's like weird.
Yeah.
They actually, you can like even like after the game when they're talking like Chris Long, he's just going off. Chris Long had a great game too. He's just an animal out there.
What a great addition. And
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Belichick said he wasn't the greatest fit for their defense, but he was sorry to see him go, and he would love to still see him there. But Chris Long wanted to go to a place, a 4-3 defense that was a better fit, and he's been a great fit here. My God, time
Phenomenal.
and time again. How many big plays has Chris Long come up with over the course of the season?
Oh, so
on
many.
not a ton of plays, on not a ton of snaps.
And there was a chance that maybe the game goes a different direction if he doesn't get that pressure early on. Vikings are up 7-0 at the time, right?
Yeah.
Or was it 7-7?
No, it was 7-0.
It was 7-0, and they were kind of driving a little bit. And if Long doesn't tweak his arm a little bit and allow Robinson to get that interception, maybe the outcome of the game is different.
That's a free Eagle 7 points right there.
Because that's when the momentum shifts right
Robinson
there. Like
gets
after they
sit down there.
got because the defense or the Eagles offense was not really clicking up to that point, and then after they ran that in, you're just like, oh, here it goes.
Yeah,
And that was a great run back. It was 50 yards. I mean,
Yeah.
in 50, and he ran across the field. The blocking
and
for him
everybody was
excellent.
blocking
Oh,
aggressively.
Darby rushed down there.
Yeah,
Got blown up,
And a couple dudes, right? Darby did get blown the hell
but he
up.
blocked. I mean, it slowed that guy down. Yeah,
After Robinson changed the field, he figured he couldn't get any further down the left sideline. He changed it to the right sideline. They had one person to beat around the edge. Darby runs up and makes a selfless block where he kind of got
Absolutely.
blown up. But
Our 190-pound corners aren't fullbacks, and that's
right.
okay.
Yeah,
but that
Can't
block
get
was
mad at
enough
him.
to get him in the end
Yeah.
zone.
It
Oh,
was.
yeah.
That's
If he
a
didn't
really
make that
big
block,
deal.
that guy would have caught him easy.
That was a really big deal, and that 7-7. Then it was all downhill. It was just game on.
Yeah.
both sides of the ball.
The whipping began.
We just stopping them on the defensive side. They got a couple drives in scoring position. Barnett had a strip sack when they were around the 20-yard line. They were going to probably at least score a field goal.
At least they were in the red zone. I believe they were at the 18 or something.
Absolutely, I assume they're getting 3 at least.
Barnett had a strip sack. Chris Long recovers.
Chris Long again in there.
And I think also the other interception where Darby had it initially, Thielen knocked it out, and Graham ended up with it. They were also driving at that point too. So the defense came up big when they were in the red zone. So, we did give up some drives, but I always felt like we were just kind of in control of things.
Yeah,
obviously the run-pass bounce was horrible. They had 18 carries and 48 passes. Dude, if you're going to win a game, if Case Keenum was going to throw 48 times, I would have said Eagles win every time.
Especially when he's not throwing, 9 yards down the field every time.
Right. And it's something, whether it was a hit or the fact that he threw that pick, he was hesitant to go downfield after that play. And it was just all short stuff. And we kept everything in front of us, and we tackled well.
Which is D-line did work.
Yeah, early on in the season, we tackled really well. Then we had a lull in the middle where we let up some big plays or whatever.
Lots of guys
now
were
we're
missing
back
tackles.
to the basics, and now we're wrapping people up.
Oh, those tackles are beautiful.
There's even a
Taking
play
terrible
where
angles.
Malcolm Jenkins is just holding on to somebody's ankle just to make sure he doesn't get a big
It's
play.
Diggs. I think it
That
was
was
Diggs.
Diggs.
Yeah.
That was Diggs on a third down.
And you don't want Diggs getting away from you.
And those are the kind of things that win you games. It doesn't always have to be. We saw it last week when the Vikings won. We saw the safety for New Orleans come up and not wrap up.
Right.
Not make a tackle when he had a chance to at least
knock his
make
own
them
guy
kick
over.
a long field goal to try to win if he would have wrapped up right there. Or maybe time would have run out. I don't think they had any timeouts left. So either way, you have to wrap up. And he decided to try to make a shoulder tackle and just whiffed completely. So
And knocked the other guy out. He knocked his own teammate out too.
Crowley, got knocked out of the play and couldn't catch him. But they played well. There's nothing they
especially
did
after
poorly.
a slow start, because they had a slow because Minnesota marched down on the first possession, and then when the Eagles possession, their first offensive possessions weren't good.
No, Torrey Smith did have a ball in his hands that he could have caught for a long gain.
And then Burton had that one where he couldn't get his damn feet in.
Yeah, he didn't do the toe tap, and that's just awareness, and that's it's good to catch the ball, but you also have to be aware of where you are as far as the sideline goes, and you have to drag that foot, and he didn't even attempt to get that second foot in. So, but if those are the things we're nitpicking at, it's pretty damn good.
Correct.
Game.
Right. Yeah.
Damn good.
I mean, you had balance. I mean, Torrey Smith had 5, Jeffrey had 5, Ertz had 8. And all I heard about this vaunted defense is how their corners were going to shut us down and we were going to have to dink and dunk to Aguilar. And even I thought that. I thought Aguilar and Burton and Ertz Aguilar, Burton, and Selleck were going to have to be big elements of this.
Chain movers.
But they didn't. I mean, Aguilar had 3 for 59. Burton only had that one catch. It was nice first down. But he only had one catch, and Selleck didn't have any. So they couldn't even stop our main guys.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's not like they got murdered by Mac Hollins or anything.
And I saw analysts being like, the Eagles might not score any points. And I was like, well, I guess they put 38 up instead, yeah?
Hell yeah.
Honestly, although, to be fair, I mean, I think I called it 14-20 or something. I thought it would just be a grinder where the defenses beat on each other. I did not see Nick, swinging that thing out there and just killing them. Just murking him, boy. He was so good that game.
And that's dangerous, Nick, in a good way for us, because Nick's not afraid. He didn't pull a Keenum where he's throwing all short and checkdowns. He's still making the D-backs aware that he can throw downfield, and he threw downfield quite a bit and completed quite a few of those passes. Yeah, everything was cooking. Slow, short range, mid range, long passes. He was hitting on all 3 levels, which makes the defense drives him crazy. Because you can't, if you find somebody like Keenum's doing, you can roll up because he's not throwing anything deep. You tackle well, and they stop the Minnesota offense because of that. But Nick, they're all confused. They're like, oh, is he going to throw deep? Is he going to throw short? Defense didn't know what was hitting them.
He's already holding the ball too long. This is making me confused because we're still not there yet. And the offensive line did a great job.
Oh, yeah, and the run game was good too, man. I mean, Ajay busted a bunch of nice first downs. Garrett Blunt had that excellent touchdown where he just said, 5 guys hit him. He's like, nope.
I'll drag all you
bitches in there.
Yeah, Jai's constantly breaking 3 tackles and getting me scared he's going to fumble again.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you there,
and
totally.
Another great game for us for run-pass balance.
Absolutely.
33 passes, 30 rushes.
Ooh.
What was the clock control? Do you have the time of possession?
A little
down there?
TOP?
I think it had to be pretty
I don't know.
high.
Chip Kelly said that doesn't matter.
34 minutes for the Eagles, 25-56 for the Vikings. So control the time of possession once again.
I guess that'll happen
Eagles
when
had
you're up
456 yards to Minnesota's 333. So they had over 100 more yards. Eagles had no turnovers. No turnovers that game.
That's another key. They hit on all the keys.
Very big.
All the keys you need to win a game, they hit. Controlling the clock, not turning the ball over, forcing the other team into turnovers, executing on offense. They just they did it all. Now,
Very impressed.
They both had 9 drives.
Oh,
Isn't
so
that
it was
interesting?
even with the
Even number of drives.
with the halftime little shenanigans with the okay, interesting.
Apparently Minnesota did not do much with theirs. Look at that.
Yeah, they got Keenum.
Oh, that was such a great game to watch too. Like it was just like after the initial freak out, of course, they just started putting the wood to him, like, and they just kept putting the more and more. They just kept stabbing at him. Just so much fun to watch.
Well, and they did a great job of disguising defenses. I mean, there was one time where Malcolm Jenkins was lined up over the tight end, and one of the things the offense will do to see if you're in man or zone coverage is they'll motion the tight end. If no one follows the tight end, it's zone coverage usually. If a man follows the tight end, it's usually man-to-man. So they thought they had Jenkins on Rudolph man-to-man, and he actually blitzed off that formation and got some pressure on Keenum. And, I'm not sure if he caused a turnover on that play, but they didn't make it on third down. But just disguising what they did.
Right.
I mean, Keenum really had no idea what he was doing. He was just his first read was his last read, was his check down person, and he was just throwing all these short passes, and we just ate it up.
Yep.
So
and they came down.
Go ahead, catch it at the 4 because that's all you're getting.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. McKinnon, like we said before, 11 catches, 86 yards, 7.8 per reception. Even their big play guys, Stephon Diggs, 8 for 70, 8.8 per catch. That's just a lot of short stuff that they're getting tackled right away. And I think what the Eagles do is they'll give up some yardage over the course of like drives, but they'll say you can't complete that pass, every pass all the way down the field. At some point, you're going to make a mistake. At some point, our pass rushers are going to get there. At some point, our corners are going to jump the route. And they're going to say, if you want to dink and dunk down the field against us, then try.
Right.
And they did, and they were mostly failed.
And maybe you might even make
a turnover.
Right.
Ended in downs.
Sure
ended in
did.
a punt.
You might make it to the 20-yard line, but that's where you're going to stay.
Yeah, and in a worst-case scenario, then the team gets 3 points. And generally in the playoffs, you don't win by kicking field goals.
No,
you
you do
scoring
not.
touchdowns.
That's exactly right.
Especially when the Eagles are pouring it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a pleasure to watch. And
it really
like
was.
I said, we got used to those games in the middle of the season where we're playing bad teams and Carson was there. We haven't had one of these in a while. You don't expect against the number 1 defense in the league to have a game like this.
The vaunted Vikings day.
And I think they took that to heart when they hear that, we're not going to score any points against this D.
Right.
There's too much talent on this offense, regardless who the quarterback is. We have a lot of talented players. I mean, Ertz is a really good tight end. Jeffrey's a really good wideout.
Ertz ate Harrison Smith's soul.
Ajayi's a really good running back. I mean, we have players that are very good on this offense.
And they're all selfless. You know what I mean? They all none of them are like
limelight. They don't
No,
need
they don't.
touchdown.
It's
They're
amazing.
not like a T.O. kind of like I need the ball to be happy kind of person. They're all
Do you
happy saying today's my day. I'm going to take advantage of it.
Do you remember seeing it was I forget what game it was. It was in the middle of the season when they were killing it, but like it was when Clement had his 3 touchdowns. Right? Do you remember that game?
Was that against the Broncos?
I think so. But Clement had 3 touchdowns. And then
I do remember that.
There was a shot on the sideline of LeGarrette Blount like telling the coach, "No, let Corey take it, man. It's his birthday. Let him get 3. Let him get 3." I mean, who does that? That's so awesome to me. Like I saw that, I was like, "That is, those guys like each other."
And
man.
Blunt's kind of a little bit of a historic malcontent for other teams.
Yeah, but I mean, he's happy here. Like he was like, I mean, and like I think when and when Blunt scored, like he was like one of the first guys to congratulate him.
Yeah.
Was Ajayi running out there like slapping him on, like when he was on the sideline, you saw him like pounding on his. Like that's awesome.
We don't mind congratulating this undrafted
they just
rookie
wanna
who
win.
just got touchdowns over us.
Yeah,
They have really good chemistry.
It's fun to watch.
They like playing for Doug. They like playing for each other. They like playing for the city.
Like,
it's just it's a good dynamic, and you just want to make sure you try to keep that as long as you can, and as long as the leaders are like Malcolm Jenkins, Lane Johnson kind of types that are positive and kind of keep this thing going and keep anyone under wraps. Because if you remember, people like Jalen Mills, I mean, the reason he fell to the 7th round a couple of years ago is because he was a malcontent at LSU. He was a problem maker.
That's right. Yes.
And all of a sudden he comes into this veteran-laden team, and they lay down the law, and they learn by example and see the way things are done, and you either buy in or you get out.
He doesn't cause shit.
And he bought in, and he's a contributor. You know, I think we've all talked. We're not really in love with Mills per se.
No,
but
we're not. I'm not.
He's a strong.
He's
fighter.
pulling his weight.
He's a fighter. He fights, and maybe doesn't have elite talent, but he gets physical with people, and he tries to.
And he doesn't let getting burnt get to him.
No, so he's a contributor, but the veteran presences on this team just made it that much easier for people to come in. Like even Ajayi, labeled as a malcontent.
He was,
in
yeah.
Miami.
Troublemaker.
That's why we get him for a 4th-round pick. Comes in, has been the ultimate team player. He's just happy for the other running backs when they do well. Just can't talk enough about the job that Howie did assembling the team.
Did you see
Doug just keeping the team together?
He's got that emotional intelligence.
When you lost
he
Carson,
really does.
When you lost Carson, you could have lost the team.
Easy.
A weak coach would have lost the team.
Yeah.
He didn't. We won out minus the Cowboys game, which I don't even count because we didn't even play anybody, and we only lost 6-0 with our backups. Whatever.
But just real quick. But I mean, speaking of Ajayi, before we get off that, did you see him crying at the end of the game? Just on the ground crying, just like weeping happy tears, like on his knees. Like,
I did not.
Like, yeah, he's about it. And then like Garrett Blunt's like patting him. Like it's just adorable to watch. I mean, they're so into it, man. It's so.
I did just scroll through and follow basically the whole team on Instagram after the game.
Yeah,
because I'm like, I want to see what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Did you see Chris Long trying to drink the beer with the mask on? That's one of my favorite.
Oh yeah,
like of all the crazy stuff I saw on Twitter. Other than the dude standing up, other than the guy sitting on top of the truck driving by, and then the shirtless big black dude with the Eagles hat,
with the actual Eagle hat on,
Eagles mask on,
yes,
yeah, like, yeah. You're like, that's some Philly shit.
I saw
there.
the dune buggy up the Rocky steps.
I did see that too.
I saw the fire in the streets. Oh, did you see the dude chase the subway and get wrecked by the pole?
Oh, wow. I was telling, I don't know who I was watching it with, but I was like, so glad that the subway, there's no room between the subway and the edge there.
That's dangerous
as hell.
The pole,
and then he hit the subway.
Yes.
He did.
But there was no gap
in
between the two. He could have fallen under there.
He I was got twisted up.
Yeah, no, I was like,
I've heard Reddit ER stories.
Oh, apparently he got interviewed too. I didn't read it though. But when I saw it on Twitter, it was like the only L in Philadelphia tonight.
Yes.
And even he would consider it a win.
He's still cool. I'm sure he's still like, Eagles!
But I think we haven't lost since Carson was out. Take the Dallas game out. Doesn't count.
Because we don't count that, yeah.
They haven't lost.
They haven't really, no. I mean, even when they squeaked them by.
That's true.
They beat the Rams. They beat the Giants. They beat Oakland. They beat Atlanta. They beat Minnesota.
Huh. Yeah, I guess you're right.
They're a good team.
I think so.
Like, I
think they're proving it too.
I will not freak out.
I mean, I thought they were.
They are a good team.
When they were going to this game, I was like, because the Falcons game wasn't like this. You're like, all right, it
was a fight.
Right. I didn't respect the Falcons. I did respect the Vikings.
Me too. But then I was like, all right, it's going to be close. It's going to be another dog like it was with the Falcons. You know what I mean? Because I was like, without Carson, what are they going to do? And then Nick said, I'll show you what we're going to do. And then they just smashed them. Like you were saying, like we haven't seen a game like this since mid-season where you're just like, ooh, look at them just beating on them. Like, yeah. Like,
right. Unexpected beatdown.
Yeah. On the number one defense. Like, they just came in and said, I don't give a shit.
But the toughest test is still yet to come.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the scary bit.
Two people left on the hill, and the king of the hill is there.
That's absolutely
right. And we're
right.
climbing it.
I sell propane and propane accessories.
There comes the time to knock the king off the hill.
Get Hank off that hill.
And become the king. The king's getting old. It's kind of like one of those...
you come at the king, you best not miss.
You cannot miss.
One of those wild movies where the lion has been like the king of the herd for a long time and somebody else wants to challenge him. He's been up there for a long time, and you always expect, since he's the guy that's been the king for so long, that he's going to continue doing so. But eventually you get old. and somebody replaces you.
That's right. Did I see either of you guys watch Godless on Netflix?
I did, yeah.
I was going to say, that's like that. That
Yeah.
young buck came up and knocked Jeff Daniels off the throne.
Ably played villain by Jeff
And
Daniels.
Jeff Daniels is like, it wasn't supposed to happen this way.
And he said,
That's right.
you saw wrong.
You saw wrong, bitch.
Great show, by the way. You like
Yeah,
watching?
definitely recommended. That's all three of us. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good show.
You fan of Deadwood? This might scratch that itch.
Yeah, it was similar in many ways.
Yeah.
So, you can't really extend this. This is one game and the game's
Right.
over. You're playing one team. You matched up well.
This is
for
how you
whatever
want to
reason.
go into the Super Bowl, though.
You want to go in with momentum.
I'm feeling good. They're feeling good.
Yeah. I mean, they can't help but feel good and probably overconfident. They've won so many times and made it here so many times. I mean, the only times they were beaten were by Giants teams that had good defenses and were pressuring up the
and
middle,
fluky plays.
which we can't
Pressure that
Yeah, get at
pretty
Tom.
boy. I won't say any more
But
curses.
it's not even like edge pressure because he can step out of like edge pressure comes. He can step up. He can step to the side and stuff like that. It's pressure up the middle. That
Timmy
gives him
and
real
Fletcher.
problem. Then he starts
Fletcher
throwing a
and
little bit
Timmy.
off his back foot, and his rating goes down significantly, as most quarterbacks do when you have pressure up the middle.
Oh, and Brady gets mad. He does not like getting hit.
Yeah. And a couple Super Bowls now, we've seen him like late third quarter, like get kind of frustrated and throw one way down the field, kind of up for grabs. He's done that multiple years now.
Yeah, and I hope that our D-backs, and they've done a good job of intercepting the ball, but they've left quite a few on the field. We've
they
seen
have.
quite a few.
McLeod did
picks.
one on Sunday.
He did.
He did.
And Bradham's had 4 or 5 go through his hands.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
We've seen
Mills,
Malcolm Jenkins not
Malcolm
catch all the picks
Jenkins,
he could have.
Even Darby. Yeah, they've all had chances, opportunities, and they've converted quite a
Catch
few of
the
them.
ball, guys.
But
They've dropped a lot.
yeah, that's one of the things. If you do happen to get an opportunity to get a turnover on Brady, take advantage of it because you're not going to get as many
please
chances as
do.
you did with Case here. You may have 1 or 2 shots, and you've got to. We have to win that turnover battle because
That's right.
The ultimate team game. It's still driven by the quarterback, and we have a disadvantage, regardless. I mean, unless Nick plays like this. Which I don't know if you can expect that or not.
Can you
but,
catch lightning in a bottle twice?
Even if Nick played like this, it's still a disadvantage on the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
one of
Brady's
the best all time.
Brady's a killer. I mean, like,
But I mean, that's a historically good game. I mean,
Oh,
what was this game?
absolutely.
26 to 33, 352, 3 touchdowns. That's a historically good game. I mean, that's a freakishly. I mean, yards per attempt 10.7. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame level game. I mean, against our defense,
That's why it doesn't happen very often for guys like that.
Brady could never, or I won't say never, but he would
yeah,
have
because
trouble putting up those.
he
numbers
performed that
against
weird
our
voodoo on the Falcons in the second half last year. So that's the other thing. You can
That
never
was partially the Falcons' fault. That was the play calling. They were
Yeah,
really
they really-
conservative.
they did.
They played not to lose instead of playing to win. And they had that 28-3 lead midway through the third quarter. I mean, it's not like it was just right after half. The Patriots didn't start scoring until the end of the third quarter.
But the Falcons never scored again.
It didn't help that they gave him a sack fumble and gave him the possession right back for
Did
another one.
not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but
Well,
that's,
that weird was it Amendola or the other one that made that weird insane catch that bounced around. He caught it off his face.
It was not Amendola. It was
the other one was
Edelman.
Edelman. Yeah.
Edelman.
I mean, that was just a ridiculous. See, my hope is if that happens, in Super Bowl while it's bobbing around, you'll just see somebody like Jenkins comes by and kick it out of his hands and be like, no, no.
I agree.
I think in order for us to win, the feeling I get is that we have to be ahead. And then
Yes.
Brady's going to come down and score, and we have to just counterpunch with score for score until the game's over.
And get at him. You need to smack the shit out of him.
Because time and time again, you've seen Brady come back from deficits.
Brady doesn't get shook ever. I mean, you got to give that to the man. I mean that Super Bowl performance. I mean, I hate the Patriots, and I don't really like Tom Brady. But
Gotta give him respect.
You got to respect that performance, man. Because everybody was like, oh, they lost, and how many guys would have been like, oh, we're dead. He was like, nope, watch me go do this, and just ate them. You know what I mean? Just played flawless for a minute. And it was just, it was
down
crazy.
20-10.
Yeah, that's he's got balls.
Late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Brady does not get
midway
scared.
through the fourth quarter. That was the number one pass defense in the league with Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And without Gronk, he just willed it.
He did. Like, he's a special guy. But I want to watch him get hit a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to look forward to that.
I'm hoping, man, because if they don't get at him, it's going to be a problem. They give him time to eat him up, he'll eat him up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And, we'll see what goes on with the Gronkowski injury, and hopefully he's...
hopefully he's
We'll
still out.
revisit that next week.
Yeah, we'll have a better idea next week if he's starting to practice and whether he's currently in the concussion protocol, not practicing. So, as of now, looks good. But
he's got 2 weeks to recover. So, I mean,
week and a half now.
I guess that's true. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm also hoping that Brady's cut gets infected. That's kind of a hope of mine. Somehow some of the couscous or whatever.
We like sneeze MRSA into his hand or something.
Like he got infected by the Quino or whatever got in there, and now he's got all infected.
If a really dedicated Eagles fan wanted to go get Ebola and then go back to Boston.
Whoa. That's a little too great. Maybe not the Ebola kids, but...
No, how about a strong flu?
Yeah, there you go. I'm just hoping for a little...
I want to give him Ebola.
Yeah. Well, Eagles fan, man. What you going to stop?
Yeah, look at you.
I don't want him to die.
I don't want him to die.
I want him to throw out black blood for like a week.
That's all right. I might throw Ebola-infected batteries at his head or something, but I don't want him to die or nothing.
No. After the Super Bowl, he can be like sick for another week, and then
he'll be all right.
Yeah.
He'll rust on that giant pile of money.
Oh,
but
feel
bad
better.
enough that he wouldn't play.
I'd feel better about the matchup if it was Hoyer versus Foles.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Here comes Hoyer.
I agree.
But, he doesn't have Edelman. Cooks, I think Cooks can be shut down or maybe like limited what he can do. Amendola has great hands, but you got to wrap up right away. And hopefully you get enough pressure on Brady that, he can't get to him deep.
Right. Well, the thing also with the Patriots is some no-name dummy will get have the game of his life because that's how that works with those.
Sounds like a Chris Hogan game.
Yeah, really.
Usually
Chris
that
Hogan
or a running back. They always have a James
Oh,
White
like
or
the-
a Deion
right.
Lewis or
probably a Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, somebody like that. But we've been pretty good against running backs. I'm not really that worried about it. Maybe kind of like I was worried about the screen passes to McKinnon, maybe screen passes to Deion Lewis and White. Maybe a little bit about that.
They just do a really good job of isolating on Kendricks.
Yeah. They could, but
Or even worse, Najee Good.
but I would say that
Najee.
Najee.
as much as we
Not
like
so
to
good.
bash Kendricks,
Not so
all in all,
good.
Kendricks has really done a pretty good job all year. Occasionally, sure, he's not perfect, but
I
he's
wonder
done
how tested he's been.
he's done a great job as far as not in coverage, but tackling, pressuring the quarterback occasionally, and just stepping up when we needed a legitimate NFL linebacker, which we don't have too many after Hicks got hurt, we don't have too many on the roster.
Yeah.
So he's done a good job. Branham's done a good job. Who hasn't done a good job? So you have to continue to make sure, maybe we can hold them to field goals rather than touchdowns.
I think that would be ideal.
If we can get a couple turnovers off him, that'd be good. Because I think Brady,
Maybe one strip sack.
I don't know if you can ever shake Brady because he's that good, but you can frustrate him. I think if you bang him enough, he gets frustrated.
And you can get up on them early. I think that they're more of a second half kind of team. So maybe you need to build the lead early and just make sure that you're ready for a slugfest in the second half and just stay ahead.
McNabb had the opportunity to do that too. He ended up throwing a pick to Harrison late in the second quarter, but they had the
Throwing up on
opportunity
the
to
field
go
as
up.
well.
Yeah, they did. And I felt like at halftime they had a good chance to win that game, but wasn't to be.
It was not yet.
No.
This is redemption.
Redemption off these terrible
Hopefully so.
people.
Hopefully so. And we'll see how Tom deals
Yeah, you
with
can't
getting
take it for
knocked down
granted.
quite a bit and getting heat in his face. And
Despite his
Probably the best
amazing
D-line he'll play all year.
Despite his amazing diet and everything, he is 40 years old.
and we had more hurries than any team in the league.
Yeah,
and
best D-line.
And we actually had 40 more hurries than the second most, the team with the second most hurries. So we're putting pressure on people. Even if we're not sacking them, we're making sure they're not comfortable back there and doing things they don't want to do, whether it be a check down or
Right.
an ill-advised pass to someone. pressure can affect your quarterback rating. So,
I mean,
it's
also
a really big deal.
Well, then, like, no one. I mean, anybody has to get jumpy if they keep getting hit. I mean, you have to just start looking for it after a while. I mean, it just takes you out your rhythm too.
It did Keenum this past
Absolutely, yeah.
weekend.
Keenum got boom.
Yeah, he looked bad. He looked rattled, and
Absolutely.
he just was looking short every single time. And kudos to the Eagles on every level. And,
They did a great job. It was a great championship game.
But I guess we'll have a little bit more chance to know what the injuries are next week.
Yeah,
kinda
go a little more in depth,
and go to an in-depth analysis of the kind of plays that we expect to see on both offense and defense to kind of counter one of the most potent offenses of all time.
Yeah, and the
greatest quarterback of all time.
And coach.
That's right.
I mean,
And coach.
Don't sleep on Belichick. That man's a genius. Dick that he is.
Yeah, and he's got 2 weeks to prepare for us. So
Yeah, he does.
He can look for those isolating Kendricks and coverage, double move, wheel route, things of that nature.
And those guys can adjust.
Anything, yeah.
So, it's going to be a great match. I mean, from the coaching aspect, from the player aspect, they certainly have an advantage at quarterback. We have an advantage on our defense versus their
Yes,
defense.
I believe so.
I would say so.
Even our offensive line versus their defensive line, I think we have an advantage as well. So we have places we can make up for not having the best quarterback. It's just our quarterback can't be bad.
He cannot be bad.
Yeah.
Don't give him extra opportunities. Don't give him,
You got to keep the turnovers. You can't turn it over, and you can't have stupid penalties.
and you can't be
You
afraid.
can't have punts hitting your shin.
Right. And
you
you know
can't run into guys calling for a fair catch.
I don't know. And if the Jags game's any indication, the refs seem to be like to give those Patriots some calls, those PI calls.
Although I did like seeing that Gene Steratore was the ref. I've liked Gene Steratore for years. He's a good ref.
All right, good deal. You mean he won't be out congratulating the Patriots players right after the
will
game
not
like the
be.
other refs were?
I've read like a deep dive Sports Illustrated did
Suspect
on him.
refs.
Can you autograph
He's
my
a
uniform?
dedicated guy.
That's great, Tom. I gave you that PI, right? Yeah, it's a great move, Tom.
Right, celebrating, high-fiving with him. Yeah.
The check cash, Tom. It was great. It was great. Allegedly.
So yeah, we'll get a little bit deeper next week when we have a little more information, and we'll do a little bit of a deep dive into the game plan and plays you expect the Eagles to run, and likewise for the Patriots.
That's right. But right now we're just gonna enjoy this win.
I got a quick quiz
and
for
the
you
Eagles are going to the
guys.
Super Bowl. Absolutely.
Do you guys have any idea where the term flea flicker came from? Because I've known what it was for a long time, but never really knew where the hell hand the ball off to the running back, toss back to the QB. That's a flea flicker. Where did that come from? What is that? Before I give you the information, I just wanted to see if you had any guesses, any info.
When the
Vince
play,
Lombardi.
when the play was established, there was a really small running back that was nicknamed Flea that flicked it back to the quarterback.
He actually ended up playing guitar for the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I feel that's not true though.
No, it's by Bob Zupke, former University of Illinois head coach.
Oh yeah?
This was established in 1910 when he was coaching at Oak Park High. He basically said it's supposed to mimic the quick flicking action of a dog getting rid of fleas as the running back pops the ball back to the QB. It's like, boom, like a dog's tail.
Okay.
And this was in 1910.
But the
1910.
NFL wasn't even established till the 1920s, I think, or 32.
That's when it was still college ball when they were killing each other
that
with
must
the
have been
with the wedge formation and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
The good old school leather helmets.
Right, where they just murdered each
It was
other.
more like rugby.
It
at
was,
that point.
yeah. That's when they said, "Oh, maybe we should throw the ball," so they stopped killing each other. Yeah.
Right.
I still don't know how that motion resembles a dog shaking fleas off, but
We got to
I'm
think
working
like,
on it.
You
I
got
thought, if anything, it was more like a horse's tail, if I was being honest.
I just thought it sounded cool, and someone just came and was like, "It sounds neat. Let's call it the flea flicker."
Yeah.
So that sounds like some.
Kudos to the
We're gonna do the
University of
flea flicker,
Illinois.
boys. We're gonna make it look like a dog's tail and throw it out there.
The term has lasted 108 years.
That's right. Way to go, 1910 man. Who was that again? Let's give him a shout out.
Bob Zupke.
There you go, Bob Zupke. Well done, buddy. We forgot your name, but your play lives on.
Well, maybe in 108 years they'll coin the grand scheme of things for something.
Remember when the great
Beers and
Brad
Birds
Weaver?
episode 10,876.
This is 3018 here.
That's right. Honestly, I want to give us a little shout out ourselves because were the Eagles going to the Super Bowl before we started this podcast? No, they weren't. So you're welcome, Philadelphia.
What exciting wrap up, dude! Guys, we have to get fired up. This has to be a special episode next week. It's our last one for the season.
We'll
do a wrap up after it, but last one during the season next week.
And the
Preview
Braves are
Patriots.
going to the Super Bowl.
It's already started, and
So exciting.
Welcome to Beers and Bulls.
That's right.
exciting things, and we'll have many exciting things happening in the off season. We'll go into those in depth a little bit more after next Sunday.
That's right. But
A
right
week
now,
from the Sunday.
Super Bowl
After
bound.
the parade, after the Wing Bowl,
That's
after
right.
all that shit.
After I take Monday off, after the Super Bowl, it'll be good.
I also already locked my Monday
Did
off.
you? Good
Oh, yeah.
man.
Oh, I was thinking about doing that. I guess I have to.
Oh,
You're
it's
going to
done.
have to.
Well,
done.
either I'm going to be uber depressed and just want to sleep all day,
Correct.
I won't
or
wanna
I'm
go to
going to be
work.
drinking till
Yes.
4 in the morning, and I'm going to want to sleep all day.
I feel like we'll be
Either-
drinking to 4 in the morning either way.
It's not.
Really,
Work's just not
think-
happening.
I think that work's not happening, but I think my motivation to drink late will be less if they lose. I'll probably just drink myself into oblivion and pass out
Exactly. That's what I'm
by
saying.
like midnight.
Yeah. So, all right, Super Bowl bound. All right, next episode we will get into the matchup itself. Talk a little more trash on Brady.
Maybe try to get Sean Dog in here.
We'll hear from the
get
Cottrell.
We'll get the Cottrell in here, and we'll give you a little more of the Birds Super Bowl bound. Until then, oh yeah, and I got to give a shout out to Sam's friend Josh. Go listen, Josh. Thanks for listening, buddy.
Hey, Josh, appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Spread the word among your friends. All right. My son will listen. I'm glad you do. But go Birds. Super Bowl
Birds.
bound Birds. NFC champions Birds. Woo! Woo! Take care. Good night, and we love you. Go Birds.